Everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's a little after 7 o'clock on July 1st, 2014. A little bit later than usual because of the situation with my 16-year-old son being in the hospital. And so anyway, let me read this to you, and we'll take a look at what happened in the markets today. The website and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research. And please, make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a look. Well, the S&P made a little bit of a liar out of me today, but that's okay because I'm a bull, and we actually got a little bit more bullish today than what I thought we would. And you can see that happened when we took out this short term, okay, it is short term, but when we took out this little ascending resistance line. And as luck would have it, we closed the day right on that line, coming back from above. Now, if you know one of the things I've harped on over and over again, that is descending resistance lines, those that start high and go low, tend to turn into support when they are broken out over. Ascending resistance lines cannot be counted on doing that. They might, but you can't count on it the same way you can typically count on the behavior of a broken descending resistance line. The high today was about 1978. Now I got to say something. You know, we've been looking at this target back here, this inverted head and shoulders pattern right here, and we know that if we interpret this pattern as this being the neckline, then our target is 1990. But if, and I'm just saying if, we got to be honest with ourselves, I think now, and look at, is there anything that might be different about this pattern where 1978 could be all the juice she's got? Well, for example, if instead of calling this the right side of the head, if instead we were to say, well, that's a premature breakout, well, that does two things. First, it slightly decreases the distance between the neckline and the head. And second, it slightly lowers the point of breakout. As a matter of fact, if that were the pattern, our target is actually 1972. Okay? Then we also at one point talked about the potential of this not being an inverted head and shoulders pattern really at all, but more of a diamond. And if that were the case, then we would be looking at a slightly higher neckline, but an even lower breakout point, because this line would have a bend in the middle of it. So instead of it looking like this, we would be looking at something more like that, in which case our breakout would have been back here, with this being the diamond. So all of that to say, there is a possibility that what we saw today, and I'm not going to say it is for sure, because this market's got some mojo behind it, but there is a possibility that what we saw today was a little bit, perhaps, maybe not, just saying it, maybe a little bit of irrational exuberance, taking this market up a little higher, a little earlier than maybe it should. And sometimes when we get that, we look at one of those points and we see that as being the sign potentially of a top. You see, we had a line drawn across our tops here as well. The high back on the 9th of June, and then the high back on the 24th. And if we zoom in just a little bit to that, and we look, we can see, even though that line got a little squiggly on me, let me fix that to make it perfect. There we go. You can see we got a little over this line today too. Possibly a sign of just a little bit too much at this point in time. Then this could be begging for a reactive move back down. And sometimes if this overreaction to the upside is significant enough, then the reactive move back down ends up being severe, or at least relatively severe, and you find out in hindsight usually that, hey, that's a top. So with that kind of in mind, by the way, when we look at what we saw today, I mentioned that depending upon what we were going to see this week, I would maybe flip the color of this bottom line down here, and it does get flipped, because I don't think there's any question that when we moved from 1945 to 1978, this now is a significant low. So if we do come back down, then the question will be, will we bounce again at this line? So this line becomes a little bit more meaningful, I believe, with what we saw today. And guys, I think that's going to be about it. I've still got my son on my mind. I appreciate those of you who have wished him well. And so, folks, thanks for putting up with the short video tonight. And appreciate those of you who are concerned for my son. By the way, his name is Jonathan, and we're just found out today he's got potentially some potentially serious digestive issues. We may be looking at Crohn's disease. So that's a lot to try to take in and deal with when you're 16 years old. So guys, thanks for watching, and take care.